So we are going to start with our just a little presentation to give you some idea. I want you to have the flavor of the event, and we're going to have somebody joining us in a bit who was on last year's tour. And actually, we have Ellen Williams on the call right now, and she's host one of the events at her gorgeous apartment. And then she also takes us through the West Village. So we're going to talk about that in a bit, and then afterwards we'll meet Ellen, and we will you can ask questions. But um, so hold on a second. Leslie Mendel just entered. Okay. Ooh. So this is me. I'm going to be your guide. I'm the one. I lived in New York for 10 years when I was in my 20s, and I was able to move back after my divorce. So I was 61, and at the time I moved back and living in the East Village, I just dug in. It was so exciting to be back, and I relished every minute. And I sniffed out everything with the help of people like Ellen and other friends in New York who know the city really well. And what I wanted to do is to find those really great places that you always hear about existing in New York, but you feel like you never get to experience. So that was my mission when I was putting together this itineraries, to find those things that just make you feel this is New York. This is the New York I've always heard about. And as we know, New York is just such a great destination. People love it. It's always top. But as again, my mission is to get us into places where tourists rarely go, where you really feel like an insider. So and just to show you this, we ran this one time last year. It was our first trip last year. And in the picture here is Peggy Miller with the red hair. And I just love this recommendation because she grew up in Long Island, and she's been going to New York all the time. So she was kind of like, I don't know, what am I going to do? I've already been to New York so many times, but as she says, we explored the most amazing places I would never have gone to if I hadn't been on this trip, especially into people's homes, which is what I think is key, is to get us into the great apartments and stuff like Ellen's apartment. So our base for the weekend is the Moxie, New York City, on the Lower East Side. It's actually on the Bowery. The street is called the Bowery, and it's famous, and has such a huge upgrade in lately, renovations and cool places to eat and stay. That whole Bowery area. So we have a great place, and the rooms are a nice size. And actually, the picture behind me is from the bar up at the Moxie. So hold on. So how we start off is my apartment in New York is in the East Village and has a rooftop. And so we start off with just fun, relaxed drinks and nibbles on the rooftop. I have a friend who's a great singer. She comes and sings. And it's we bring other women in who are other New Yorkers. So it's not just you who are on the trip, it's New Yorkers as well. So throughout the trip, you're meeting other women who live in New York and learning from them, or just discussing fun things that they do. So it's like being, meeting a whole new tribe of friends in New York. Let me see. And after our rooftop party, we go to Freeman's Restaurant, which it's so close to me, but it's so hard to find. I went for almost a year without even knowing about it because it's tucked in a little alley. So, and it's just a great fun spot and to start the whole event off. Then we'll go to a Speakeasy. There is a Speakeasy on the Lower East Side that has been in operation since Prohibition era. It's one of two in the city that are still operating. So we'll go, and as you see, we're all toasting with coffee cups. It's because all the drinks are served in coffee cups, as they were when this was a speakeasy. So in case there was a raid, they could just say, well, we're drinking coffee. So they still serve. It's really fun late night thing. So the next day we will start at the Tenement Museum, which is just has opened up new areas of a new whole building that where they've recreated what it's like to have lived in downtown and the Lower East Side back at the turn of the century when immigration was high. And we went to the Tenement Museum last year on this trip, and it was so popular. Everyone loved it. It's just like a great slice of history, kind of grounds you for all the other stuff that we do. It gives you that sense of history. Now, of course, everything's gorgeous and glamorous and hip, but to know the history is really important. And so we're also going to be going to some of the some great places with Ellen, and one of them is, you can't see this here, the name, but it's Bigelow's Pharmacy, which is the oldest pharmacy in the country, I believe. And it's right in the West Village. It's right around from Ellen's apartment. We also we'll go to shoe shopping or just shoe looking at Sarah Jessica Parker's store. She just opened a store around the corner from the facade I think it's from the facade of what was filmed for Sex and the City. So it's all there in the West Village, and for that part, Ellen, who's on this call, will be our guide. So we'll talk to her about some of that too. And then this is one of the most fun things we do, I think, is to have lunches or events at the homes in the apartments of New York women. And this just gives you a glimpse of Ellen's apartment. We had a lunch last year where Sarah Nelson and Christine Van Ogtrop spoke. And Sarah Nelson is the executive editor of HarperCollins, and Kristen Van Ogtrop is a really high-powered literary agent. So we had our core group of Next Tribers traveling with us, and then we brought in, and so many other women came in from other New Yorkers. So you're meeting writers and actresses and producers who have come to the same event that you're going to be at. So it's just a great time to just mingle and mix and feel like a real New Yorker. We also, in the afternoon, after Ellen's lunch, we'll walk through the West Village. We'll go on the High Line, which is famous for a converted railroad track that is now a park. There's the Whitney Museum you can go to, and it's a little bit farther, not quite my definition of downtown, but it is this hysterical sex museum. If you're feeling really bold, it's a fun little departure if you want to do that. So that's in the afternoon, after we walk through the village with Ellen, there's be some options of things you might want to do. Then Leslie Mindell is here. She was on last year, but she's here up in this corner. We went to one of the most fun places called Marie's Crisis Cafe, and it's a place where they play show tunes, and you can sing along, you can request the show tunes. You can see we were just belting them out. And what makes me laugh is that because this whole trip is focused on downtown New York, we're not going to Broadway. We're not going to a Broadway show, but we've got all the Broadway tunes that you want here at Marie's Crisis Cafe. So it was a little bit of Broadway in the West Village, and just a hoot. So
it was very fun.
Very fun. We're going to hear more about that from you, Leslie. Then we go for dinner. We on the Lower East Side, there's a place so unassuming on the outside. It's a pawn shop in the front, but you go in the pawn shop and you say you have a reservation, and they open this door, and there's this gorgeous restaurant and with great food, and it's just one of those great, you feel like you're a genie and you've said open sesame and you said the magic words, and you get into the promised land. So that's going to be a fun thing to do. That was great last year. And then there's a rooftop bar that I particularly like in the area that we can go to late night if you want. Again, if you don't like staying up late, you don't have to, but you're in New York City, the city that never sleeps. You might want to go late night. On Sunday, we're going to take a ferry to Brooklyn. I have a friend who has one of the most amazing brownstones I've ever seen, and we'll have a featured guest. Last year, we had Maya Wiley, who was an MSNBC legal analyst for a long time. Then she ran for mayor of New York City. So she's just so accomplished, so fascinating. So we got to talk to her, and it wasn't like, it's not like she's standing up at a lectern and with a PowerPoint. It's just a discussion, and everybody was so comfortable. People could ask questions real easily, and she was so friendly and accommodating. It was a great way to, we got to see Brooklyn. We got to meet some really great woman who lives in Brooklyn. So we'll be doing like something like that again. So in the afternoon, after our Sunday brunch, you can either, we'll give you some stores or places in Brooklyn Heights that you might want to go, or we can go to Soho, and our one of my dearest friends, Kim Seiler, who's Next Tribe's fashion editor, has all these places to shop. And I think we'll be really specific about, because there's sample sales, there's vintage stores, and of course, Soho itself has every kind of high-end store you can imagine. But if you don't have a budget for that, these vintage stores can really be fun. Then you'll have a little bit of downtime. Then one of the highlights of the whole weekend is we rent out a little theater in the East Village, and we have these great performers who it's a show just for us. And again, New York women, our New York Next Tribers are invited. They come too. So last year was about 50 people with these great performers. Cynthia Kaplan with the guitar here, hilarious. I mean, and Carol Montgomery is also a well-known comedian. She was great. It was just we laughed so much. It was just a great way to end the event, the whole weekend with it. It was a real highlight. And then if you're still got juice in you, one of my favorite places in Lower Manhattan is the Ear Inn, and it's just a funky little spot. But it has a band. We'll be there on Sunday night. It has a band on Sunday night. When I was there one Sunday night, people were dancing. And I have decided that every Next Tribe trip needs to have a dance party. So this might be our dance party usage. But if you'll see that the little name of it it says Ear Inn, but actually they taped over the B. It used to just say bar, but they taped over the part of the B to make it an E without having to go through the Landmarks Commission and have to get a new sign. So I always think that's funny. But it's been around it's been a bar since like the early 1800s. It's just an amazing spot. And then on Monday, we will have some time to do more shopping in the Lower East Side, like the Essex Market, which is near our hotel. And then we'll meet at Veselka, which is a fabulous and well-known Ukrainian restaurant that people line up to get there, to get to it. And it has great food. And we'll invite a lot of our writers, people you might have heard of, Barbara Lippert and Sheila Weller. Some of our regular writers will be there. And so we'll end with that. But it doesn't have to be the end. The thing that we're doing this year that we did not do last year is we have an add-on, and it's glamping. Oh, I just read the glamping. It's actually in the New York Harbor. I just read that. That was wrong. But it's glamping in the New York Harbor. So it's on Governor's Island. You take a little ferry to Governor's Island. They have these gorgeous tents set up, and they're very luxurious. You're not camping, but you have view of the skyline, view of the Statue of Liberty. You can do stuff you can rent bikes on Governor's Island, and there's a spa on Governor's Island. You can sit in the spa and look at the Lower Manhattan skyline. I highly recommend it. And Ellen can tell you when we get finished, when I left New York for like not living there full time, I had my goodbye party here, and there was a lot of, so it was all New York women, and some of them had never been, and we just had such a blast. We spent the night, and it was like going to another country or something, and just, it was a little ferry ride away. So it was a beautiful way to do it. And if you can see here, I've got a little apple. It's a big apple, I mean. So if you have questions, and we are open to questions, but let me get rid of this thing now. And I am going to introduce you to, uh-oh, hold on. I can't get out. Help! Oh, here I go. Here I go. So I'm going to stop sharing and come back to you. So anyway, first let me introduce Ellen Williams. Ellen, can you say hi? Just tell, you're a lifelong New Yorker, lived in Greenwich Village, and you bring so much to this trip and our Paris trip. She's our Paris guide, so just FYI. So tell us a little bit, your tiny bit of history, a little short version of your history in New York.
Yes, I'm a lifer, and I recently watched Meet Me in St. Louis at Christmas time, and the little 5-year-old character says to somebody, she says, "Wasn't I lucky to be born in my favorite city?" And that's how I feel. I feel like, all these years later, aside from Paris, which I adore, I still walk down the streets of my neighborhood and feel incredibly lucky to be there. I just love it. I feel, blessed and at home and energized, and all the best things that you could say about, how you feel about the place where you live. And, I'd like nothing more than to, walk with Jeannie's gang and show places that I love, and little, beautiful streets and lovely shops and little cafes. And so that's, I don't know.
And we all, everyone who goes to Ellen's apartment, just even if they're hardened New Yorkers, jaded New Yorkers, I'm thinking of Barbara Lippert, she's feel like she's seen everything, and she was speechless when she saw your apartment. So we're very lucky and so grateful that you opened it up to us. And I want to also introduce Leslie. So Leslie was on last year's trip, and I remember Leslie, because it was the first time I did the trip, I remember being a little nervous because you said, "Jeannie, you call it an insider tour, so I'm expecting a lot." This is beforehand, and I was like, but did it live up to it?
It did. So I've been to New York many, many, many times over my life, all through my life. My parents were from there. And we got the insider's tour because it was places I never would have known about, and people's houses that I never would have had an opportunity to go into. And Ellen's place and the Brownstone on Brooklyn, amazing. Ellen, you have to take people this time to the pickle store, because that was so fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll add that. That was we didn't have that. That was kind of
that was an impromptu,
but yeah, it's on the Lower East Side, so we'll definitely have to do what, right? That one on the Lower East Side.
Yeah. Pickles and candy we did.
Yeah,
right. Ellen needed to go to the pickle store, so we just tagged along with her. And it was fun. Really, I love the trip. Jeannie, I want to go on the Governor's Island thing.
Oh, yes, well, I swear, Ellen, you could tell, I mean, because you had never, you'd been to Governor's Island.
I had been to Governor's Island a couple of years earlier, just with some friends, with some kids, but this was, it was like grown-up Girl Scout camp. It was so much fun. We had a great dinner, we had cocktails, and then we were camping. And when you walked out of your tent, there was the Statue of Liberty. And Lower Manhattan. It was the group too. It was just being there with, everybody was, gung-ho to have a terrific time and open to the experience. And, it was a great combination of a location that you couldn't dream this up. It's
I know, and it was the kind of thing where I went, as I said, that I was really searching at the whole time I was in New York full time, always looking for the great things. And I had gone on a bike ride around Governor's Island, and I saw this place, and I was like, what? How have I not heard of this? And that's when I was like, we're doing this. And so that's what I decided to add it on. And the reason I added it on and made it instead of just making it part of it is because maybe some people aren't sure if they'd want to do it so anyway, it's really worthwhile. Great food. You're at a bar. I mean, you wake up and you open up the flaps of your tent. If you lay down, you look over your feet and there's the Statue of Liberty. And you're like, this is a dream. So it was really great. So what kind of questions do we have here? Any questions about the trip? Michelle? Oh, you need to unmute. Oh, hold on.
What are the dates for the glamp?
The glamping is the Monday night, June 11th. So
Okay.
3 nights of the event are June 7th, 8th, and 7th, 8th. No, sorry. It's Monday, June 10th. Sorry about that. Monday, June 10th is the glamping, and then that finishes up on the 11th. I'm just checking my calendar. But so it's June, but the actual New York trip part of it is this Friday the 7th, Saturday the 8th, Sunday the 9th, finishing up on the 10th, unless you want to stay for the glamping. Glamping just doesn't give, it's not the right word for it. Anyway, it's more, it's even, especially because it's in New York, it's more than glamping. Anything else?
No.
Okay, anybody else? Let's see who's all else is on the call. I know. Also, I want to introduce you. Marcy, can you say hello? Marcy is our travel manager. Can you say hello in case you have questions about this or any other trip? Marcy can answer. So, hi, Marcy.
Hey everyone, Michelle, I'm glad you got on the call. I saw the email a little bit too late. But yeah, nice to see everyone. I'm available if you have any questions. As with every one of these calls, now I want to go on the trip.
I know. Every time you're on a call, I know you're like, this is it. This is the one I'm going to go on. But
yeah,
but this is, it's really one of my favorite, because I get to stay in my apartment, and you'll see my apartment. Not that it's a lot to see, but compared to Ellen's apartment, but it's a cool little New York place. And so you get to see that, and we just, the thing about New York I love so much, and especially downtown, is just the walking and just seeing and being exposed to people on the street, inspiration in store windows, just the energy. It's inspiring, and I feel it especially downtown. And what we say too, if you want to come on this trip, but you want to do more of the tourist things like the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building, things like that, we can help set you up for that. Just give you some guidance or whatever. But it's just, we figure you can do that without us. But this kind of a trip, I think it really helps to have people who know the city and love it. And my friend Elliser is on this trip, is on this call, and she did a preview of this trip before I offered it last year. And I think you were kind of surprised, right?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it was great. And I had not been to New York City in any shape or form in over 20 years, and took my husband and my daughter. And it was amazing. And we got to experience the Freeman's Restaurant. We got to experience the Beauty Essex. Oh my God. It was just, it's mind blowing. It's just so fun. And it just feels so comfortable, and you're seeing something that you just don't get to see if you don't know an insider. That's how I feel about it.
So, Anyway, any other questions? Otherwise, we have a drawing. Did you guys know that? Was that on the thing that we draw to let, and if you, to get $200 off the trip? I don't know if I put it in there, but I have everybody's name here. I forgot to get a bowl, but I'll put it in this. I'll put these in my cup. These are everybody's name. If I draw your name, you get $200 off the trip if you book in the next week, because we really want to get people excited about this trip. And also, we want you to bring your friends. So here we go. Who's it going to be? Whoop, this one. Gail. Gail, I see you there. Can you say hi? Can you unmute?
That's pretty wild because I just entered into this session and I don't truly know what's going on. So I think you should redraw. I think you should redraw.
Are you sure?
And give it.
Where
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
live? Where do you
I
live?
live in the city. I live in Manhattan.
Well, we also have a offer if you live in the city, there's a price for if you want to do everything, but not stay, obviously have the hotel stay. But anyway.
I'm not up to speed on this. I just stepped in and I don't really know exactly.
Well, this is we're just telling people about our New York City trip. Next New York City trip.
I should read about that because I don't really know. I just
okay.
I should read about it.
I understand, and it's great that you're curious and bold and not. So I'm going to draw somebody else.
Yeah, give it to someone else for sure. Thanks.
Dion Jacobs. Can you unmute? Or not? Anyway, Dion, if you think you want to go on this trip, you have to. Oh, there you go.
Can you see me?
No, I can't see you.
Okay. So you know what? Sorry, you're gonna have to redraw because we're gonna be in Jamaica for that week, which is so disappointing.
Oh my gosh. Dang.
After everything I heard, yeah. So if you do another trip to New York, I'll be right there. But
Well,
for now,
we'll definitely do one every year, and at some point we might even do one at a spring, summer-ish time, and then a fall trip, because October in New York is pretty fabulous too. Okay, so we're gonna
right. Good luck, Michelle.
win this. Somebody's gonna win this. Let's see. It's Jean. Michelle Myers like, Jean. I can't give this $200 away. Are you there, Jean?
Yes,
okay.
I am, but I came in very, very late.
Okay. Where are you?
I'm actually in Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay. Do you want to spend a fun weekend in the city?
I'd have to get more details. Like I said, I came in very late. I joined up through a Facebook ad.
Yep.
And so I belong to a couple of travel groups for women. So I'm not sure if it's the same, but I have no idea how to sign up.
Well, we're going to
how to even get to New York.
Well,
last time I went on a trip, I drove and it was
well, you'll want to take a train for sure. I would imagine. I would suggest a train. Here, I'm going to put we're going to follow up. What I'm going to do is follow up with this call. You'll get a recording of this, and I'm going to put a link to the trip itself here in the chat where you can click on it right now. But oh wait, here it is.
Yeah, but
find it. It's
Jeannie, I was just about to put that in the chat if you want me to do that.
I just
or are you there?
Yeah,
okay.
I just got it.
Because actually last time I went on a group trip there, we stayed in Jersey.
No, we're staying at the cool spot. We're staying with the cool kids. We're down right near Soho, right near the East Village in Soho. We're really in the middle of it. All the happening stuff, all the artsy, the art galleries, all of that. So no, we're not staying in Jersey. So anyway, Jean, if you want to
Alright.
check it out,
Okay, yeah, I'm copying it now so I can look at it. All right.
and then if you know, in the next week, if you want to book, we can take $200 off your trip. It's already reasonably priced. I have to go back and look right now as I speak, the price, but when you think about it, dinner's included, all the lunches, breakfast. Let me see, it starts at $19.99, so $1,999. So for that's, you know, great hotel in a great location, all these dinners, these are exceptional dinners. These are not, you know, on the low end or anything. These are like places that people make reservations for weeks in advance. So,
You know, Judy, sorry to interrupt. I want to add, because it can't be stressed often enough. It's not just that you wouldn't do all of this stuff by yourself. If you did all this stuff by yourself, it wouldn't be, excuse me, as much fun.
well,
Because
that's
part
true.
of what this is, it's a party. It's like Jeannie has assembled women who are engaged and open, and everybody's interested in talking and asking questions and getting to know one another, and stepping a little bit outside their comfort zone enough to just welcome in new friends. And so again, even if you had somebody say, okay, here's 12 great things to do over a weekend, and I've arranged everything for you, I've made the reservations, I've figured out how to get there, I've figured out where we're going to go. Even then, you would be sitting there by yourself or with your partner, who you may or may not have a lot to talk about with. But this is a very different experience. And that's why I said it's kind of like Girl Scout camp, like
Yeah.
just, and everybody, you know, kind of is in the same boat of being open to friendship and being interested and interesting. And so that's, as I always say to Jeannie, that's the secret sauce that.
And thank you for reminding me. And it's something I probably can't say myself, but anyway. But Leslie, I think you found that too. I mean, on the trip, you.
Yep. So I'm going on my third trip this year soon to Italy, and I don't know anyone but Jeannie on the trip. So going to New York, I did not know. I knew one person, and when I went to my first trip to Santa Fe, I didn't know anyone at all. I think it's kind of fun to go with people you've never met and made friends. So now we're, you know, we have a chat message, and I'm still in touch with people from the New York trip.
I know.
So
that happens a lot. And when you go to on the Italy trip, you're going to be like, you're going to have a whole new cast of friends there. So, well,
can't wait.
Dion, I know that you asked about a mailing list. We do have a mailing list if you want to be on it. I mean, you could be. We have a general newsletter, but we also have a membership where it's like $39. It's $39 a year, and you automatically get $100 off a trip. So you can see it's a good idea to join. You save money. You save money by joining if you're traveling. I'm going to put. Dion, I'm got to find the sign up for the newsletter link. Hold on a second while I do that. But we'd love to have you know more about Next Tribe, especially if any of you come in and you came from a Facebook ad or something and you want to know more. I'm going to put first their website here, and we do all kinds of. There's Marcy put the membership information, but if you just want to see what we're about, we do trips all over the world, domestic and international, for women over 45. And we found that this group, they bond so quickly because we find that the women who go on these trips are all pretty like-minded. They're still curious about the world. They still want to engage in the world. They still want to have fun, all of that. It's all great. And this is the time to grab it. They grab the good experiences of life. So we found that the people who are on these trips are very compatible, and that's fabulous for people like Leslie. If you come by yourself and you don't know anybody, it doesn't take long before you feel very comfortable with everyone.
Totally. I like meeting new people and people from all over the country. So
And
I
you
think it's a
did.
real adventure.
And you're in Atlanta, so we get
I
people,
am.
yeah, we get people from all over, from New York to California, Canada, and Florida, all over. So we it's a really great way to develop a new sense of community too. So I'm still open if you have any more questions, anyone, or if I can tell you more about Next Tribe, if I can stay on afterwards if you want to know a little bit more. So and Gail, you're in New York. We have events in New York City. I'm doing two, one in March and one in April for Next Tribe members. We're getting together with, we have just like 20 people gather and at different homes, and we have a featured guest, meaning it's not someone speaking from a podium. It's just
Uh-huh.
it's just somebody sitting and talking, and it's been, playwrights and writers and artists and
Mhm.
just interesting women doing interesting things, and it's a joy to get together with
Yeah.
women. So
I guess I'll join. I
yeah,
didn't know where I stood, but then
or if
I'll certainly see.
actually, if you want to try one of the events before you join, that's fine too. So I think
Yeah.
usually we have people who really like these events. So
No, it sounds lovely. It sounds,
it's
yeah.
really fun. So if there's not any more questions, we'll finish up. But I want to
I have one question.
yes, sure.
I have to be somewhere else in New York, so I would join at a certain point. So I'd just let Marcy and you know, like, when I'd be available.
Yes. So you mean, you have to go off from the trip at one point or something, or?
I have a conference that I'll be at through the morning of the 9th, probably.
The 9th, is that the Saturday?
Probably.
Yeah, but are you available like on the evening of the Friday evening? Yeah. So then you'd get a lot out of it, and that's cool that you'd already be there. Yes.
And also I wanted to mention to everyone, I am going on a trip and I don't know anyone. I'm going on the power of the charisma of someone I only know online, but I'm confident about it.
Yes, well,
So-
and yes, and you're in great hands. Lucy Frost and Ellen Williams will in Paris. You can't do any better than that. Just saying.
Oh, we're gonna have so much fun.
I'm really looking forward to it.
You
yeah.
know, next week I'm having lunch in the city with two of the women who were on the Paris trip last year. They never knew one another, neither one of us, but the three of us are so excited about getting together and having lunch. And it's really all about making connections and doing it in a fantastic place.
Yes, yeah. There's nothing, if you're gonna bond, why not bond in one of the best cities in the world? So, well, wonderful. Well, I hope to meet all of you on a trip down the road, and hopefully it's the New York City trip. If not, it'll be another one. And please do go look at Next Tribe and look at all the trips that we have on offer. There's a bunch of great ones from Vietnam to Peru to Portugal, I can't remember, Scotland, and then Santa Fe, domestic destinations as well. So these domestic destinations are great, so because you can try us out, see how it goes before you make a bigger commitment. And we found, like with Leslie, people like Leslie who come on a shorter trip, they like what they experience, and now she's signed up for Italy, which is a week long and a little more of an investment. So we like to offer these shorter trips in cities in the US so you can get a taste for it. So I hope.
Do you have another one in San Miguel de Allende?
Yes, we do. We do have one. The first, we have a classic San Miguel de Allende trip that sold out within a week, and I've just added what we call the deluxe San Miguel trip, and that's just a different hotel, and it's a day longer, and a little more is included. So it's just a. Do you want that link,
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Let me get that, or if Marcy's still on, maybe she can find it.
Yeah, I can put it in the chat, Michelle, or I can email it to you so you
If
can
you
look
could
at it
email
later.
it to me, that'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll email you both. There's a couple that you might be interested in for San
Okay,
Miguel.
great.
Okay.
Great. Well,
Okay.
thank you, everyone. And this a recording of this will be available. We'll send it out tomorrow or the next day, so you can look at it. And I know there were lots of people who signed up for this, and a lot of times they just see it through the recording. So hi, everyone who's looking at it for recording. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Great.
Take
I look
care.
forward to looking at the website.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.